Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, Mr. President, Mr. Minister, DG, and our special guests today. As we are all upstanding, we will now have a rendition of the national anthem sung by the choir from the Department of Home Affairs. Thank you very much. You may all be seated, and may I now invite the Honourable Minister of Home Affairs to the podium.
Ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellency is the President of our Republic, leader of our people, the CEOs of our banks, our partners, including Eliane, CEO of SABC and BASA, DDGs present, former DDGs, Deputy Minister. You will notice that I have completely broken protocol by now, so I'm no longer introducing people in order of importance. I lost it long ago. My dear wife, who is here today to check whether I'm working or playing, the chairperson of the portfolio committee, the chairperson of the select committee, Honorable Mamabulo, who in 1 month moved from being a chief director at Home Affairs to being an MEC in Gauteng. We are still struggling to call him Honorable, Mr. President. We still think there are some reports he did not submit. I would like to acknowledge the chairperson of the National Stakeholders Forum, all other dignitaries, distinguished, extinguished guests. It's cold today. We welcome you all here this morning and are really excited at what is going on here. I forgot the CEO of the government printing works and other dignitaries. I will note them as the time goes on. Mr. President, what you are here to launch was announced by you during the State of the Nation address in 2014. You indicated that we would soon be launching a program in terms of which South Africans would be able to apply for their smart ID cards and passports at their banks. Soon thereafter, we signed a memorandum of understanding with the 4 banks, including SABC and the Banking Association of South Africa, to give meaning to your instructions. We thereafter announced the beginning of the pilot, where the officials of the banks, the employees of the various banks, could apply for their documents, which they did successfully. Today, Mr. President, you are here to unveil to the nation a program which provides a critical element of the backbone of e-governance. You are here to announce a partnership, the first of its kind, between government and the private sector anywhere in the world to provide identity documents using the footprints of the South African banks. Nobody has done this anywhere. South Africa is the first. I take this opportunity to welcome all of you who are here. The program as it is, after these brief remarks by the program director, South Africa is transforming very fast, even in terms of titles. People who are doing my job used to be called Masters of Ceremony, until South Africa became free and ladies could also do this job, and it was going to be awkward to call them Mistresses of Ceremony. And we decided we would call it Program Director. It's simple, it properly describes your job, and there would be no confusion about it. We will ask Kalyani to come and do brief remarks on behalf of the SABC and the Banking Association to explain the partnership. This is not the only partnership, Mr. President, we are doing with the financial services sector as well as the insurance industries. We also cooperate with them. We collaborate in verifying online the identities of their clients so that they can be able to combat, or we can be able as Team South Africa to combat identity fraud. And so we are happy with this partnership. As the CEO of ABSA was saying, this is not the end of our partnerships with the banks. A whole lot more is yet to come. South Africans are still going to be happy at the convenience we are going to introduce to their lives through the package of services that we are providing. So I would like to invite you to the podium to come and make few remarks before we can invite the President to give the keynote address. We've already given him the key, the note, and we've given him the address. He knows where his speech should lead to. Thank you.
Mr. President, Minister Gigaba, the Deputy Minister, the Director General of the Department of Home Affairs, all the executives in the department, all the dignitaries present here today, the CEOs of the banks, ladies and gentlemen. I think I should say all protocol observed. I've always wanted to say it. Anyway, I must say firstly that I am not the CEO of BASA, the Banking Association. Mr. Kovadia, who is the MD of the Banking Association, unfortunately could not be here today, and so I'm representing him as well. Firstly, I'd like to say congratulations to the department and to our banks as well. As the Minister has said, this is really world first, and it's certainly with great pride that we're able to say so in our country today, but also when we're outside of the country. We interact all over all the time, and it is really with great pride that we can say that we're doing something together with the private sector and government. And I think with the banking sector, we certainly see the fight against crime, the fight against organized crime, the responsibility to create a safer South Africa, the responsibility to create a better country for our citizens as a collective responsibility. We don't believe that it's just the responsibility, Mr. President, of the government, but of business and civil society as well. And so certainly this goes a long way towards supporting those strategies that we have collectively. The relationship with the Department of Home Affairs is certainly one that we are extremely proud of. From a SABC perspective, and for those that don't know, SABC is the South African Banking Risk Information Center, which was a company established by the banks to assist them fight organized crime about 13 years ago. We have, as far back as 2007, entered into a partnership with the Department of Home Affairs to look at how we could jointly deal with crime prevention. And identity theft, as you know, is a global problem, and it manifests in so many different crime types affecting South African citizens and people all over the world. And we thought that we could collectively find a way in which we could work together. And using the online fingerprint verification system, the Harness database, we partnered and we entered into agreements. And as I stand here today, we have 7 of our banks participating in this project. We have almost 4,000 bank branches across the country that already have the online verification capabilities. We have over 17,900 scanners in the different branches. And what this does is that it enables the banks to ensure that they have a second level of verifying somebody's identity. And of course, today, as we stand here with the launch of the eChannel and the fact that the smart card rollout would be even quicker and faster now that the banks are participating in this project and assisting government, assisting the department with ensuring that South Africans have a greater footprint in order to apply for their smart cards. We certainly will go a longer way in trying to ensure that we curb and reduce identity theft significantly, because from what we see in our sector, it's actually costing hundreds of millions, if not billions of rands across our country alone, let alone what's happening across the world. So we're really proud of where we are. This has been an amazing relationship, and I must say, Mr. President and Minister, the Department of Home Affairs has really come to the party. The officials have been amazing. There's no challenge, and I've said this many times, there's no challenge that's too big or too great. Solutions are found for every little issue or any big issue that we come across, so that we make sure we achieve what we need to. The DG has always been supportive. We run to the Deputy Minister for help. Everybody is always very supportive, and that's why we are where we are today. And I often say that it really should be a case study in terms of how the private sector and government works. So I want to convey a message from Mr. Kavadia in terms of the current initiative that the banks are embarking upon with the department, the project that was launched, or the eChannel that was launched today. The Banking Association will be facilitating this relationship. There will be a PPP agreement that will be finalized. The Banking Association has already put together a working team that will be looking at a rollout plan, and that will be made available to the DG and the Minister in the next few weeks. So we're really very excited about the partnerships. And again, I'd like to say, Mr. President and the Minister, that we will continue to work closely with this department as we do with other government departments, and we will certainly support any initiative to make South Africa safer and a better place for South Africans. Thank you.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, as I said earlier, my sense of protocol is long lost. We also have the Honorable Deputy Minister of Postal Services and Telecommunications with us. They are responsible, amongst others, for the State Information and Information Technology Agency, which provides the backbone network to Home Affairs. We are happy that at the highest level of the department they are here. We thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Minister, for your presence and your continued support. Today we're launching e-Home Affairs. For those who may not know, we're not renaming the department in Zulu. It's electronic Home Affairs. We are announcing our program of digitization, taking our modernization program of the department forward. What we want is for your children and grandchildren, when they turn 16, to find a Department of Home Affairs unlike the one that you left. We are redreaming, reimagining, repackaging the Department of Home Affairs. As one young person said to me earlier this morning, I told the president this, we're actually making Home Affairs sexy. We're taking away the long queues. We're simplifying the process of applying for your documents. We're making it nice, enjoyable, fun. We are utilizing the advantages of technology, of what our country has to offer. We're exploiting the skills of our young people so that we can be able to provide our people a service that is convenient to them and not to us. This is at the topmost of our minds today. The type of future that we want. In launching e-Home Affairs, we're presenting to our nation the backbone of e-governance and administration. Look no further. The Department of Home Affairs is it. For a long time, people have thought of our department as a department that offers menial services. When they think of Home Affairs, they think long queues. They think documents that are going to get worn out, that can be stolen, whose pictures can be changed, whose details can be transferred to somebody else. They've been thinking of inconvenience. Even as I speak to you, in many of our offices today, there are long queues. People will take their lunch hour to go to our offices, to spend a long time standing there beyond their lunch hour, spilling over to the time they were supposed to be back at work. We are saying today we are beginning a process to put all of that to an end. We have a dream of this department that will be a pillar for economic development through the documents we offer that would enable South Africans to get jobs, to go to university, to invest. Documents that will enable children to go to school, that will enable foreign nationals with critical skills to come to our country, business people to come and invest. A department that will be a pillar for national security, enabling South Africa to document those who enter our country, providing documents to South Africans that enable them to be safe and secure in their country, to enable them when they travel abroad to know that the document they carry in their hands, called the South African passport, is secure and credible, has integrity, and is respected all over the world. A department that will be a pillar for e-governance and administration, providing a package of services not only to itself, but to other government departments. In the same manner as we have partnered with the banks and the insurance industry, that same service we can offer to each and every other government departments to enable them to deliver their services in a way that's credible and to meet their target audiences. A department that is a pillar for service delivery, that enables every South African to get the services they deserve, that ensures that government delivers services to people who deserve to receive those services. This is Home Affairs, as we are talking about Home Affairs of the future. A Home Affairs that is the backbone of everything that South Africa is trying to do, that plays a role not only in just offering menial services, but in the economy, in security, in governance, in administration, in service delivery. Mr. President, it is my privilege, sir, to invite you to deliver your keynote address and unveil this program. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you. We may be seated. Thank you, Director of the program, our Minister, Minister Gigaba, the Minister of Home Affairs, Deputy Minister of Home Affairs, and other Deputy Ministers who are here with us, Director General of Home Affairs and other Directors General who are here, and Deputy Director Generals, CEOs of South African banks who are here with us, distinguished guests, and all important participants who are here today. I'm very happy to address you on this occasion, the official launch of a wonderful and innovative service that will further improve the way we deliver services to our people. We are joined by our partners today as government, the country's banking sector, to launch the wonderful project that will see people applying for identity documents at their banking institutions. This is a very important development as we seek to build a state that is responsive to the needs of the people by providing better, faster, and more secure services. This service is one step further in the ongoing quest to make the services provided by the Department of Home Affairs more accessible to all our people. Government is modernizing the Department of Home Affairs and is also improving security. This next step entails better use of technology in order to improve the lives of all citizens. Government cannot do this alone. That is why we are entering into a partnership with banks to extend access and to empower their clients. We are happy indeed that the banks have teamed up with the Department of Home Affairs. This department is central to the lives of our people and all others residing in our country. Among other things, the department empowers individuals as it affirms their identity and citizenship, providing them with IDs, passports, and other enabling documents. People cannot apply for their grants, housing, medical care, or even use some forms of transport without having to produce documentation issued by Home Affairs. The department also facilitates immigration in and out of the country, ensuring uninterrupted, efficient flow of persons in and out of the Republic. The department is the first port of call for visitors who contribute to South Africa's economic development through trade, investment, tourism, skills, and research. The department determines how migrants come into our country, how they are treated in our country, and how South Africa's humanitarian obligations are met, including those arising from Geneva Convention and the other United Nations conventions. We therefore request the private sector to support Home Affairs as much as possible. The department is now part of the security cluster because we realize the need to improve the security aspects of migration. The department will thus work with others in the cluster to ensure that persons who enter the Republic are cleared and that all who remain inside can be accounted for. In doing this job, the department will need the cooperation of all citizens as well and all the people of the country, as well as those who are here, either on business or as visitors, in whatever form they are in the country. We urge all to contribute to the promotion of legal immigration, and to ensure that all who are in the country have the correct documentation. This will also ensure that they receive the necessary support from government agencies. Compatriots, indeed, today we are moving a step ahead in improving services to our people. The introduction of the Smart ID card in 2013 to replace the current green barcoded ID book was a milestone. The National Population Register has more than 38 million citizens who are in possession of a green ID book. All those books must be replaced within a period of 5 years. Furthermore, there are 1 million additional 16-year-olds every year that require smart ID cards. A formidable challenge has been that the 407 Home Affairs offices are not designed for this capacity, for covering over 38 million citizens within a 5-year period. These offices are insufficient to handle the replacement of the green ID book within specified timelines. The main objective of the partnership with the banks is thus to broaden the centers at which people can apply for smart ID cards and passports. This collaboration was facilitated through the South African Banking Risk Information Center and the Banking Association South Africa. Accordingly, the department has entered into agreements with 4 major banks to increase its service footprint. This should help greatly to increase the uptake of the smart ID card and the issuing of passports. The participating banks are ABSA, as you have heard, FNB, Nedbank, and Standard Bank. With the 4 banks participating, it is possible to reach over 20 million clients with improved queue management and enhanced client experience. This also benefits the banks by reducing fraud through confirming the identity of clients. We certainly look forward to the involvement of other banks, as this will further accelerate the rollout to as many branches as possible, effectively to cover all provinces, thus to provide access to the historically underserviced and marginalized areas of the country. We look forward to the involvement of many other service providers so that reaching more clients expands further to support the electoral process. It will ensure that more voters have IDs and are therefore empowered to register and exercise their democratic right to vote. With regards to the rollout of the smart card ID card, initially we had prioritized senior citizens above 60 years of age and first-time applicants 16 years and above. This new Home Affairs service of applying at banks for civic documents will initially cater for young people between the ages of 30 to 35 years. Going forward, we intend to build the capacity to extend the system to other age categories. We are working also on making our services more accessible to persons with disabilities and in particular those with visual difficulties. We encourage Home Affairs to keep up the good work and to continue relentlessly to improve on its management and identity and immigration. Great strides have been made in this regard. An important improvement in service delivery and security enhancement was the introduction of a full birth certificate at no cost for first-time applicants and issued on the spot. Let me thank the banking sector for their participation and resources that they had availed in this regard. Well done, private sector. I was happy when the minister said it's a first partnership in the world. That is South Africa, always a special country with special people. The department is engaged with the banks to find ways to expand the e-Home Affairs service to all their clients. In expanding its footprint, Home Affairs has correctly identified the human element as being a critical factor in service delivery. Consequently, it has launched the Moetapele or Leadership Initiative to train officials so that we can improve citizen care at Home Affairs. We want officials who deal directly with the public to be patient, caring, and helpful. Ladies and gentlemen, let me thank you all for supporting this innovation. As a country, we are making huge strides in this area of innovation. South Africa is known all over the world for what it does. It has done things that many people tend to South Africa if they've got problems to seek some advice and solutions. This makes many of us proud that we are in a country that is moving forward, and we are doing all we can to ensure that we are heading to a prosperous South Africa, given what we do. I'd like to thank everyone, including the citizens of this country, who are supportive of the actions that are being taken to better the quality of lives of our people. We also thank the private sector for proving that indeed government and business are working together more than ever before in our country. Together, we are moving South Africa forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Mr. President, after you leave, I would like the DG to bring forward the official who put a white seat for me. I just want to have a word with them. But that being said, we will now, let me announce, ladies and gentlemen, that the President might have to leave us before the end of the program for other engagements, but we will indicate when that happens. For now, in terms of our program, we have to ask the 4 leaders of our partnering banks to also come and make their remarks on this partnership. We've met with these leaders on many occasions. We continue to, and we will continue to, because as we were telling the President, we are hoping that this program we're launching today will soon be extended to Home Affairs offices themselves. We are hoping that before the end of the year, the applications for birth, marriages, and death certificates will also be digitized. We are also working hard to ensure that people who are reapplying for ID cards and passports no longer have to come to Home Affairs. They can do that in the comfort of their homes, at work, or at kiosks in the shopping malls, and they will only come to Home Affairs to collect their documents they had applied for. So all of these exciting changes are coming, symbolizing the e-Home Affairs that the President has just unveiled. Let me request now, and in no order, the representative of ABSA to please come and make his remarks. He will be followed by FNB. They will be followed by Nedbank and followed by Standard Bank. Please.
Good morning, everyone. Mr. President, Minister Gigaba, Deputy Ministers, DGs, Deputy DGs, the bank CEOs. I don't get to see them very often. We're not allowed to talk to each other because of competition matters, so this is a unique occasion. Friends and colleagues, it really is a privilege for us to be here. I think when we look at what today symbolizes, a real groundbreaking partnership, which I hope is the first of many between the banking sector, the private sector, and the government. So very, very exciting for us. I think in terms of the world we live in at the moment, we live in interesting times. We have a world economy that really is struggling. We have an African economy where the commodity run that we had in the last decade has really, really turned. And as a result of that, we have a South African economy that's also struggling. My request to everyone is to keep the faith. This is the time to join hands. This is the time to persevere. We've been through tougher times. We're a resilient nation. And the message I want to give you is we need to persevere. We have a lot to fight for. This is a great nation with a great potential and a great future. Now, what's that got to do with Minister Gigaba's vision of digitizing and turning his department into a totally electronic division? I think it's quite important for us in the sense that the ID card is at the core of creating financial inclusion for tens of millions of South Africans. Without an ID card, you just can't do it. It's at the core of enterprise development and helping create those millions of jobs that we need to create. And so I think today for us is much more symbolic than simply the fact that we've partnered on this project. For us today is a real bridge, which I hope is the beginning of many bridges that will be built between the banking sector, the private sector, and government to really find clever, innovative ways of taking financial inclusion to all South Africans and helping us create those millions of jobs and that enterprise development that I think will kickstart this economy and get us back on track. I thank you very much. A special word of thank you to Minister Gigaba and all of the people at Home Affairs that have been working on this project. We've been very impressed by the professionalism. We've really enjoyed being part of it, and I think it's the beginning of great things. Thank you very much.
President Zuma, Minister Gigaba, and Deputy Minister Chogan, members of the media, and all the dignitaries here today, everyone that's played such a big part of this project. It really is special for us as FNB to be welcomed onto the stage and really be part of this very special occasion. Now, what's being unveiled today is not something that started yesterday, and I think many of you worked for many years and months around this, but I think the big message, as also relayed by everyone today, is the powerful collaboration that's come and the proof that we have demonstrated that business and government can work so well together to make this an unbelievably special country. As FNB, we're very proud that we could play some part in this, and clearly along our helpfulness slogan, bring some of that to this initiative. And what's very special is that as an industry, we struggle with many things, as most industries do. And one of them is this ability to identify people as they enter our environments, as they try and do business with us. And for many years, you'll know how we struggled to get and make sense of the old green ID that we had all come to expect to build our operations around. So what is a big plus and a big compliment to the Minister and the Department of Home Affairs, it was the realization that they have delivered to us as a nation a better solution. And when we identified that, clearly as an industry, we were screaming for that solution to be made available to our client bases. But what we also realized is it would take some time to roll that out to the wider public if we had to rely on the infrastructure that was available for what is called the Home Affairs offices. Not only is that infrastructure going to be is struggling with what it has had to deal with in its current form, but we as an industry are rushed to get that capability rolled out faster so that we could start benefiting from it in our industry. This identification is the backbone of our financial system, and with that allows us a lot more capabilities, the efficiency that we can introduce in our banking industry, as Craig indicated as well, to get deeper into society, to bank more people and to deliver better services much more efficiently and faster at the bottom end of the market. And at the same time, in the top end of the market, where it has become almost impossible to get that extra time off out of the activity that we're busy with to get around to do the stuff that we are expected to do as citizens. I think what's also important is that we figured out that if we could do that, none of us could do this on our own. And I think as an industry we've come together, not only trying to compete, but to support each other to deliver this as a consistent message and a consistent service across the country, which I also salute our competitors for. This is no different than you will recall a few years ago we started introducing, as the Minister also indicated, the ability for us to identify through an earlier partnership the customer through the fingerprint verification system in our branches and our environments, which has made a tremendous impact to our ability to shorten queues, to do things faster, and to get that identified quickly to reduce the fraud across the piece. It's also no similar to the initiative that we have underway with the SABC environments, where people who start businesses, as we recognize the industry, how important it is to support that efficiency for people to be able to start their enterprises, and especially, as we all know, in the markets where we operate and the macros around us, we need to be able to help people start businesses fast. And that initiative that we have with SABC allows you to, as part of your onboarding process of opening a bank account, to electronically reserve your business account and to electronically reserve even your name and register that. And so, as an industry and our integration abilities to integrate into government capabilities, which are so important, we believe that we could set our industry and the utility parts of both government and banks into a different stratosphere and enable our society to operate much more efficiently. Moving fast forward to where we are today, this by no means is, I think, the end of the journey, as was also indicated, with so much more to come. This is no small feat, and I think for anyone who's tackled anything in the digital spaces, you'll recognize how much is at stake, how much effort goes into it, and I just want to applaud both people on the business side as well as people on the government side for the unbelievable work they've done. So as we step, I guess, into the future and as we try to do more things, let me commit us as a banking industry, let me commit myself as FNB and the people that we have, that we want to play a big role, and we will continue this journey, and we have demonstrated how powerful the skills together and the trust together that we've developed over this time can be expanded into so many more initiatives. Thank you very much for having us, and we're proud to be part of this.
Thanks, Jacques. The one who just spoke is the CEO of FNB, Jacques Silias. The first speaker whom I didn't introduce was Craig Bond, not 007, CEO of ABSA Retail and Business Bank. We now have coming up here Dr. Terence Sibia, the MD for Client Services at Nedbank. please. And he'll be followed by Sim Shabalala from Standard Bank.
Thank you, Program Director, for that lovely introduction. Your Excellency, President Jacob Zuma, Minister Malusi Gigaba, Director General Stamkuseli Apleni, fellow representatives from my competitor banks, Craig, Jacques, and Sim, representatives from the various industry bodies, including BASA and SABRIC, Kalyani and CAS in absentia, representatives of the various government entities here with us today, deputy ministers included, members of the media, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Sanbonani nonke. There are three things that a bank understands really well, apart from money, of course. That is management of risk, innovation, and most importantly, the value of partnerships. It's appropriate, therefore, that these are the three key things and key elements that define today's launch. Facilitation of this online solution is predicated by a strong partnership between the state and business. It is a well-known fact that in a world characterized by increasingly sophisticated and very complex levels of fraudulent activity, our green ID books no longer make the cut. Their security features were appropriate at the time, but as we also know in banks, criminals tend to run ahead of us, and we have to keep up. So the secure means of the new Smart ID for all our citizens is a major milestone for us as a nation. As a bank, in and within itself, also relies heavily on secure identification for effective risk management, we welcome national government's drive to replace the Green ID book. This innovative and more secure Smart ID card also importantly commits our joint commitment as business and the public sector to achieve this vision of realizing a safer and more secure South Africa. Nedbank has a well-established and good reputation and commitment to strong partnerships with South Africa's public sector. We also pride ourselves in working together with like-minded institutions, state-owned